And now, one of the most critical problems in India, 1 crore people joining the workforce every year, and no company has even a level to, match up that. So, with a lot of fresh talent coming in, how do they, because for a lot of fresh talent nowadays, job is not even their option one. Okay. So that said, if somebody wants to have a career and grow in that, wanted to ask your thoughts on that. So, Karthik, what do you think supports the career growth of fresh graduates?
Yeah, and this is an important one. Uh, uh, so, so I think I'll allude to what Abhishek referred to, right? I think mindset is very important, right? Because when you're fresh out of college, I think the first thought that you have is, okay, I'm done with my learning, right? I think that needs to fundamentally change, right? As a fresher, when you come into, actually your learning is just beginning. It's just that the environment is changing, right? From a structured formal way of learning which happens in a school and college, you now have to learn multiple things where you're not being coaxed to learn, right? I think fundamentally that mindset, I think, needs to change or at least shift, because you have to learn from your peers, you have to learn from your mentors, you have to learn from your manager, you have to learn from the people around you, right? So I think it's very critical, very imperative to have a learning mindset as you are entering into the workforce. And I think the second thing that I would, in my point of view, right, is what I would share with freshers is that always look at whatever you're doing, how is it contributing to the big picture, right? Because once you start, right, probably a couple of weeks into your first job, first assignment, you'll be given a task, right? And then of course you are enthusiastic and you want to do it, etc. You get into the details of the task. But I think what's relevant is every once in a while to take a step back and say, how is it contributing towards, say, the consumer, say the company's organization, the vision, like what am I contributing towards in terms of me doing my particular task, right? And that helps you to sometimes break the rut of, oh, what am I doing, is it meaningful, and so on and so forth, right? Because I see that also come sometimes when freshers are, let's say, a year into the system. But it's always helpful to take your task, take a step back and say, how is it contributing to the bigger picture? And I think the last thing I would say is that have fun as you're doing, what you're doing, right? Because it's very important that when you learn to enjoy your work is when you actually, start really enjoying it, right? And of course, there's a lot of talk in terms of, startups being aggressive, demanding a lot, etc. But until you really learn how to enjoy the grind, right? It'll be very hard for you to really grow and scale in any organization, whether it's startup or a big one. So I think these are the 2 3 things I would
So
advise.
for, like, say, for fresh talent who wants to, grow very fast, startup is a great space. If they want a kickback kind of a lifestyle, it's better they go into a very traditional organization with, 3 year, 5 year career growth maps
So
and all.
Gautam, I would say even that is changing, right? Like even if you
Correct.
look at
True.
traditional organizations, right? Today, who are they competing with, right? If they are not reinventing themselves, there'll be somebody else knocking at the doors tomorrow, right? From an org perspective. So even the traditional organizations, the are I won't say probably of course the agility can be in question, but I would say that they are also in some shape and form trying to demand more productivity, more output, more ROI from every person who's there in the org, right? So I don't think one should enter the workforce with a point of view that, hey, I'm here to chill for a while. I think that will be detrimental to their own
Yeah.
career growth. Yeah.
I agree, but that's how I see the pattern, and with the way most of the talent is that they want more. When you talk to these kids right out of college, the way they talk is completely different. It's on a parallel universe. So they talk about work life balance. They talk about with this amount of money, will I be able to have my pub days out? Will I be able to have my can I go out on weekdays? Can I flexibly work from my home? So those are the kind of questions that I've been asked when I talk to the student fraternity. So that is also changing, I think. Rather in saying that this should be the different attitude, I think organizations will also have to kind of fit in. That is what I believe, at
See,
least.
that's, I mean, specifically, taking into consideration this entire Gen Z attitude, that's how, multiple fashion houses versus your multiple companies have tried tweaking their cultural element around it. That's where flexibility comes into play. That's where a lot of rewards and recognition comes into play, where they're trying to slowly, get in these parameters where they get that fresh talent, at the same time they get their work done, right? So it is a combination of things, right? So slowly and gradually slowly and gradually, this is something which is going to be an essence. See, you can't uh, deny to the fact that you would require fresh talent to have a new fresh perspectives. If you see multiple path breaking ideas that's come in the present day, you'll realize that there is a contribution from fresh talent somewhere or other in order to you know give that idea a specific reality picture, right? So that's, I feel it's going to be a combination. Slowly and gradually, every generation gets into this, and it is going to be a practice for both the organization and the fresh talent.